There are a few things used by an authoritarian system that are used in order to keep its people distracted so that they don't notice all the chaotic things going on around them. This is how you keep a people weak and keep them complacent. What you have to do is make them comfortable. Food, shelter, water, and entertainment. That is how you keep people distracted. One, obviously, fill their basic needs, food, water, shelter. People need those things. If those things become scarce enough, people will eventually start to notice and there will be problem. But on top of that, there is one other little tool that you can use to keep your people distracted so they don't notice all the problems going on. You can even use this tool to distract them from those basic needs that I just mentioned. And that distraction is entertainment. And in the modern society, entertainment is more prevalent than ever throughout history. We are currently living in a point in time when you can access any amount of entertainment at any point, at any time. And people get extremely tied to this stuff as well because they've grown up on it at this point, even some of the boomer types, they grew up on, sports, football, that type of thing, every single Saturday, Sunday, college football, NFL football, they always had a different game to watch and they always could support their team. Your average conservative, or not average conservative, but the average boomer Republican specifically, cares more about their football team than they do about their community, their country, even their family in many circumstances. There are a lot of guys out there who would be more willing to die for their football team than they'd be willing to die for their community in order to prevent degeneracy from getting in. And that's why conservatives have lost so much. We are so incredibly distracted. What they do is, they get you on all these different entertainment systems. Each side has their own. For the conservatives, they have their NFL football games to go watch, and then they watch Fox News when they're not watching, maybe NASCAR, NFL, hockey, baseball, whatever. That's your typical boomer conservative. Very, very distracted people, they consume large amounts of alcohol while getting pumped full of propaganda fed to them through Fox News and whatever sports team they're addicted to. And then on the other side of the aisle, you have the liberals and, younger group of people, you expect millennials, maybe some Gen Xers in there, the younger side of Gen X, and then older Zoomers. And they're all hooked and completely addicted to, sites like Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, and all these sites, they all have their own forms of propaganda. They all pump up a very, very liberal point of view while pushing down the conservative one. They ban anybody that has a take that is further right than Joseph Biden himself. You will be completely pushed off of the platform. The only social media I've seen that doesn't do this is Twitter, and that's kind of becoming the place for those Gen Z conservatives. By the way, go find my Twitter link in the description. I know, shameless advertising there. Shameless self-promotion. I'm sorry. Bad timing. But, Twitter, they allow a little bit more. Get Nick Fuentes back on there, by the way. I'd love to hear his voice. If we want a true free speech platform, we must allow people like Nick Fuentes to at least have a voice, even if you disagree with him. You can't completely shut the guy up. But again, Twitter's done a pretty solid job compared to all these other social media powerhouses. Those Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube, all those things, all used to promote liberal propaganda. So these people are extremely distracted with this entertainment, and this entertainment has hidden amounts of propaganda in it, so they get distracted away from other real issues. They get distracted away from the drugs that are coming into our country. This fentanyl crisis, the opioid crisis. They get distracted from the invasion we have right now of people coming across our borders illegally, completely destroying our culture and turning our society upside down. They don't realize that World War III is on the brink of starting. They don't realize all of these things because they have enough entertainment where they don't have to worry about it. It's easier to just scroll on social media and go, ooh, funny video, double click like, and then, there they go. They don't have to think. They are able to just mindlessly consume. Their brain is in shackles, and they're okay with that because it's much easier than getting forced into any form of critical thinking. And since they're distracted away with all these issues, when it comes for a time to vote on anything, any policy, they have no idea what to do. They don't understand what's going on. They don't know any history, and they don't know how their decisions are going to inevitably end up affecting the future. So, because of that, it's much easier to just vote in whichever way their preferred social media platform tells them than it is to actually think about it and have any form of consideration put into it. And that's how Democrats get so many voters, both sides, the Rhino Republicans and the Democrats. Two groups that are terrible for this country, two groups that are actively destroying this country, groups that are destroying our communities, keeping people down, keeping people depressed. But a lot of these mainstream entertainments are telling people to vote this way. Again, you have the boomer conservatives always on the television watching some kind of, again, sports game or Fox News. Fox News constantly vote for this Rhino Republican. And obviously, we want to get those guys out of office because those are the warmongers, the guys that are going to send us young guys, us young Gen Z boys, into a third world war. And then again, on the liberal side, you have these middle aged women who are being told that their rights are being stripped away. And oh no, if you can't kill babies anymore, you are living in a dystopia somehow. So yeah, then they go and vote for the Democrats. And you have this endless cycle of mindless people voting for these terrible, terrible politicians that do not represent them in any form of positive way. And by the way, the reason that all these people vote the way they do, the reason that, or excuse me, the reason these social medias promote people voting the way they do is because these two groups promote these distractions, right? These Rhino Republicans, they want their boomer conservatives distracted on the television with sports ball, with Fox News. So Fox News is going to promote these rhinos so the rhinos can promote them back. And then, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, all those things, the liberal politicians, they'll make different moves once they get into office to benefit these different social media companies. So, it's in their best interest if these politicians get elected because these politicians want their voters distracted as well. Because as soon as you get voters not distracted anymore, all of a sudden they start voting in their best interests. Once they start achieving a small amount of critical thinking, all of a sudden they start realizing, oh, maybe I shouldn't vote for the complete destruction and downfall of my country and everything good within the world. Maybe I shouldn't be voting on the side of the devil, but I should join and walk with Christ himself. That's what a little critical thinking can do for you. I know, I know. It's truly, truly incredible. It's something to think about there. But again, all these distractions, they hold you down and they hold you back. And they prevent you from, doing the thinking to actually take back your country. A nation like ours, we could expect to see revolution from young men because young men aren't happy. Young men are incredibly depressed. But we haven't seen any serious social political movement actually happening. We've seen a few minor ones. We see some minor groups, but they don't actually get any real action done because of the distractions around them. They have no reason to make any change as long as they have this entertainment. Entertainment above all else. Entertainment is a way that you can literally strip people from their necessities and they won't notice if they aren't thinking enough. And the way you stop them from thinking is making sure they are never bored. And in our society, you are never bored. Studies have shown, you do by far your best thinking when you are bored. It's the chance your brain has to actually open up, has to start having critical thought because it's not being pumped full of information that it can just leech off of. You need to be doing your own thinking. And that's what being bored does for you. And as soon as these distractions start to go away, which is why the liberals and the Rhino Republicans don't want this to happen, they know these distractions go away. Young men are going to be realizing, oh shit, my life kind of sucks. Oh no, my country is falling apart. Oh no, the people representing me hate me and they hate my family and they want all of us to end up on a train. If you know, you know. But yeah, they'll start to realize all the terrible things going on. They'll start to push back a little bit and they'll start a revolution to take back their country. And obviously, these politicians don't want that. So, yeah, we need to get rid of these distractions if we want any chance of any serious social political movement to actually happen. If we want this to come to fruition, we have to make a change. We have to get rid of these distractions. If you want to start making a change in your own life, even, you have to get rid of these distractions. And that's really the main point of this video, right? We can talk about all this social political stuff, but I know the average person doesn't care too much about that. And that's completely understandable, right? You want to put your own self-interest first, and that's fine. I get it. You're a normal person. So, if you came to this video looking for, hey, how can I use these distractions to my advantage? How can I become the best version of me possible? Here's how you do it. You put these distractions aside for a second and you get a significant boost over everybody else because you're the only one critically thinking all of a sudden. Once you free your mind, you free the body because you allow yourself to do whatever your mind wants. By far, the most powerful aspect you will ever have in your life, no matter how much money you have, no matter the connections you have, no matter the overall well being and wealth. The most powerful tool you will ever have is your mind, because your mind is how you create empires. It's how you build those connections, make them stronger. It's how you utilize that money properly. It's how you build something beneficial to you, like I said, an empire. You do that using your mind. You have to critically think. You have to have a chance to critically think about, how do other people succeed? How do other people fail? How do I succeed? How do I fail? Look at your past, look at others' pasts. Look at your future, look at others' future. Try to figure out what direction you're headed and figure out how you can change that, how you can improve that. But most people will never get the opportunity to actually think about these things. Why? Because they are so incredibly distracted. They're too distracted to put the thinking in, to put the thought in on, how can I change my life? How are you going to create that business if you don't have the chance to sit down for a second, put all the distractions aside, figure out, hey, what's a negative in my life? What's a negative in those around me's life? Right? What's some kind of shared problem we as a community have? And obviously, every single large business, what do? They find that shared problem that they and others all share together, and then they address it. That's what I'm trying to do with this YouTube channel, right? I sat down for a second, thought about, hey, what am I looking for? Who do I need to listen to? How could my life improve? And I realized, hey, you know what? I have some problems, and I know other young men have problems. We have some problems with the way this country is run. We have some problems with the way that people act socially. We have a series of issues with the current state of things. And I was like, you know what? I should make a channel to talk about this. That way, these young men can come together and create some form of community, because community is what's missing. What I'm doing with this channel is building community, because what our society is missing is community. You need to be doing the same thing. Hey, what are my people missing? What is my community missing? Was my family missing? How can their lives be improved? And then you offer that thing that can improve their lives. And that's how you become valuable to people, by the way, as well. Young men out there, I know it's tough. I know we feel like, the world doesn't care about us. And that's because, unlike, women, children, and dogs, we don't have natural value. We aren't valued for the sake of being. We actually have to earn that value. And you earn that value by providing something useful. And the only way you can provide something useful is if you take the time to think about what people need you to do. What is a necessity? What is something that you're willing to do that nobody else is? And you can only figure that out if you do critical thinking. And you can only have critical thinking going on if you're bored enough. Because guess what? As long as you're distracted by all these different vices, as long as, your mind is constantly entertained, you don't have any reason to look for improvement. Even if it's brain dead content that's keeping you keeping you depressed and not actually making you happy, your brain is still distracted enough that it's not going to put any effort into making any real change. You make that change by making yourself bored because when you're bored, you start to focus in and zone in on your problems. So if you want to take back control of your life, take back control of your mind, avoid the distractions, and great things will happen. You will have the opportunity to do anything your mind wishes, but you have to avoid distractions to the best of your ability. And I know we all struggle. You can't get too stuck. Oh, I'm on my phone a little too much. We all are. It's fine. Oh, I do this one vice. It's no good for me. And you know what? It's fine. We all have our vices. And that's not, it's not a good thing. You should work on changing it, but it's understandable. Don't beat yourself up too much about it, but don't stop yourself from changing it either. Don't take this as a word of, hey, it's okay, you don't have to make change. No, you need to make change. You need to make change, but you make that change by recognizing the problem and overcoming it, not by dwelling on it. But yeah, after this video is done, just take 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking you. Take 5 minutes, sit down, and just meditate. Think about the world, think about your problems, think about the world's problems, think about your country's problems, think about your flaws, think about your successes, think about how you can replicate your success and remove your flaws. And that is how you achieve greatness. It's really quite simple. I know, it's a crazy thought. But yeah, I don't want to keep you around too long because I want you to have a chance to get into that mental state while it's still fresh in your mind, while you've just heard all of this. So I'm going to wrap up this video on that note. So if you think this message had any positivity to it, if you think that, this is something that should be spread, go ahead, like, share, subscribe. It helps me out. It really helps me out in the algorithm. And that way we can get our message out there so that others can hear it as well, so others can experience it. And, the only way you're going to find my channel again, especially with how small it is if you subscribe. So if you're interested at all, subscribe, stick around, see what I have to offer. I promise I won't waste your time. But like I said, I am heading out. So go get your meditation done, and so long. Peace out, and God bless y'all.